quiet weather day once again today. Lots of sunshine for us, low humidity, and not really too much wind. Pretty nice July day. Notice all the sunshine here on our time lapse from earlier on. And yes, I'm advancing. Other than seeing the trees wiggle a little bit, that's about it. It looked about the same this morning as it has this afternoon with all of that sunshine. So temperatures warm out of the 60s from this morning, and now of course we're up into the 70s, and we'll look for low 80s for later on this afternoon. So here's what's going on forecast-wise for us today. Just another beautiful day, hot and humid, of course. That's coming back. That's typical July weather. That hits us this weekend. We really don't have much for rain chances, though, even though humidity is coming back up. I'll show you why on that coming up. Jet stream pattern has been shifting around, and that's really going to make a big difference to what's coming up weather-wise with this next ridge and heat wave that is setting in. Quite a variance temperatures this morning. MSP falling actually to the upper 50s for the first time in a long time. East cool is 48 in St. Cloud. A lot of 50s here over the region with this area of high pressure. Laverne, Jackson, look at that, closer to 50 degrees as well. So for July, you could say a touch chilly. Not that the metro fell into the 40s, but you see that would be record levels. Our normals are up into the mid-60s for lows. That's typical. And again, our high today will be underneath that 84, making for another refreshing afternoon, whether that's more typical late May or early June or early September. 15 hours of daylight today. We're going to start and continue to lose a couple of minutes just about each and every day. And then once we pull into that September period I just mentioned is when we'll start to drop about 3 minutes a day. So you'll notice your evenings, you'll lose a little daylight, although it's still pretty bright out there now. And beautiful evening for sure to take a walk. Afternoon as well with the low humidity and sunshine, dry conditions. Notice where the dew points were yesterday and today, here into the 40s. As we look into tomorrow, the dew point will nudge close to 60, so it'll feel muggier, and then push to around 70. Tropical air as we head into this weekend, so a touch more uncomfortable. And then dew points just gradually settle down through the 60s into the 50s as we look into next week. A little more refreshing at that point in time, but it will still be hot. And that's one of the differences from this ridge. Again, more on that coming up. Well, the last few days, it's been more of a northerly wind flow. And even this morning, that's why we were a little cooler. High pressure moving off to east now, and the wind has turned gently to the south. It's not a strong wind today. Most areas right around 10 miles an hour. That will definitely keep any air impact issues out of the area. No air quality issues other than right near the fires up in the Iron Range Arrowhead. And that's still better, way better than it was in the moderate range. Most of the region is on the good side here for air quality. Smoke forecast, upper levels start to bring in a little bit of haziness from upper level smoke from fires well out to the west. That will be the shift coming on later on into Friday and especially Saturday. So it's not the low level smoke from the fires up to our north. It's more energy back to the west with the way the ridge is setting in. Beautiful satellite radar, though, today. Clear skies, just a little cloudiness in western Minnesota that will drop into the southwest. I should say eastern South Dakota that will drop into the southwest. And this rainfall stays away, wrapping around the big ridge that is right here. And again, the fires out to the west. That's why we'll see some of that smoke head at us. That ridge sitting like this, and on the top of it, some of the showers and storms. If you think back to the early part of July, this big H, the ridge, was sitting over the Ohio and Tennessee Valley. And that put us on the backside of it, the southwest side. So that brought in heat, humidity, and frequent showers and storms. It was a very active pattern, to say the least. Then here in the last week or so, the ridge moved right over us. That doesn't bring in anything for rain, or almost nothing. Of course, that brought in the fire danger because it was hot. Even though it was humid, it was very, very hot, that ridge sitting over us. Then the ridge wiggled down the last few days to here towards the Four Corners. That's why we've been cooler as this low has kind of dropped the temperatures. But you see the next few days, the ridge comes back, but not in full force. It's just anchored to our southwest. So what that ends up doing is putting us on the top of the ridge, so we see heat more often than not. Humidity pops up and then fades away, but since we're still in kind of a west to northwest flow influenced by low to the north, what that ends up doing for us is bringing in little shots for moisture, but they aren't real significant chances for rain. And we do see occasional breaks from the humidity behind each system that pushes through. So microcast shows that southerly wind coming in today, temperature boosting up into the 80s instead of the 70s with the lack of cloud cover too. Rain stays to our south, mainly clear for tonight, and then maybe a little more clouds at times for tomorrow, but generally dry and warmer with the southerly flow and higher humidity. Microcast has a couple of showers and storms in northern Minnesota with some weak jet stream energy. That doesn't make it all the way here to southern and central Minnesota or western Wisconsin. The southerly wind sticks around for the weekend, and we will stay warm. One of those weak fronts moved through on Monday, and that's when we'll see a chance of storms and the humidity drop behind it. But sunny, pleasant, and 81 for today, even some low 80s in western Minnesota. Tonight, mostly clear, 66 for us in the Twin Cities, 50s to around 60 in parts of northern Wisconsin, closer to 60 about everywhere else. Tomorrow in the metro, 83 and breezy, and then 90s heat and humidity this weekend with a storm chance early Monday.